Many Nigerians are clamoring for Tinubu's record in the United States to be released, but reasons why FBI is not adhering to that call by, let me say, some Nigerians is not yet known to us. Why are they hiding a file that contains a record of the president of Nigeria? And what is in that file is what they are telling us, that it is very, very dangerous, that it will endanger Tinubu's life if they release that record. So anyways, let me just give you this report from Sahara Reporters, and I will just read this. Former U.S. Mayor Mike Arnold defends FBI, CIA for withholding Tinubu's files, claims Nigerian president at risk. Mike Arnold, a former mayor of Blanco, Texas, in the United States, and founder of African Arise International, has claimed that the legal justification being given for withholding files relating to President Bola Tinubu is plausible, arguing that the release of the documents could potentially endanger an informant whose identity may be contained in the records. Arnold, who described himself as a strategist, communicator, political consultant, journalist, filmmaker, non-profit founder and author, made the claims while reacting to discussions surrounding the continued withholding of the files and allegations that individuals, including the Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI), Central Intelligence Agency (CIA), a judge, or President Donald Trump may have been paid to prevent their release. According to Arnold in a statement on Saturday, such allegations were unfounded, argued that the United States operates under a system of transparency and the rule of law. Tinubu's files. Nigerians need to understand the US doesn't work with Nigeria. With all our flaws, we do have transparency and the rule of law. Not to say it is perfect, but it is strong, he said. So, no, nobody paid the FBI or CIA or the judge or Trump to block the release of the files. The legal reason they are stating is valid. The release of these files would endanger lives, likely either informant or undercover agents. That is the question on the table before the judge now. Arnold, question whose life could allegedly be at risk if the documents were made public, argued that the passage of more than 3 decades made it unlikely that an undercover operative would be involved. And since that is the question, what is the answer? Whose life or lives are they afraid will be threatened if this information comes out? Seeing that we are at 33 years later, there is zero chance it is an undercover operative. So it is a snitch, a rat, he said. He subsequently argued that Tinubu himself was opposing the release of the files and linked this to the circumstances surrounding the president's legal troubles in the United States in 1993. And who is the one fighting the release? Tinubu himself. So it stands to reason that the way he got out of the heroin trafficking charges back in 1993 was not just forfeiting the $460,000, but also ratting out others in the network, Arnold alleged. Another further claimed that the alleged operation extended into Southeast Asia underworld and involved individuals who, according to him, occupied positions of influence at the time and remained influential. This was a big operation, reaching into the Southeast Asian underworld, where people in power then are still in power now. He also drew a connection between Tinubu's departure from the United States and subsequent American action against criminal networks in the region, questioning whether information allegedly provided by Tinubu contributed to those operations. Not long after Tinubu left the US attacked those networks. Was it based on information Tinubu provided? If so, then yes. Releasing the file may well put his life in danger, Arnold said. He also questioned whether prominent Nigerians were among those whose names may have been provided to US authorities, suggesting that such information could have political consequences for Tinubu. Anyways, you see, that file, all of us must understand the reason why it is hard for the US government to release those files. Yes, if it contains information that belongs to Tinubu himself alone, believe you me, that information would have been released by now. But because that information might indict other prominent people in the United States or world leaders of today, they are now withholding the release of it. That is what I'm trying to understand. If you look at the insight coming from this former US Texas mayor, Arnold. So If you're expecting this file to be released, Nigerians, it won't happen. Not because of Tinubu, not because Tinubu is so powerful to stop the release. That is not the point here. The point is that this corruption that we are talking about is everywhere, even in the United States. I was speaking with one of my friends from America, and he was telling me then that we Nigerians think that we are corrupt or we know how to defraud people, that we don't know anything, that we are just learning, we haven't gone anywhere, that they are the master of the self-fraud, but they can do it legally. They will do it in a way that it will be legally backed up by law, so that you won't find out. Do you get now? That is to say that if they do their own fraud or they do their own corrupt practices, they must make sure that no traces can be found. So that is it. And US is also corrupt, not only Nigeria. It's just that their own corruption is lesser. Are you getting me? To compare with what you are witnessing here. Do you get now? So that file and whatever that happened there cannot indict only Tinubu. And we Nigerians are seeking that those files should be released. And they are not ready to release those files. Are you getting me? Because Tinubu alone was not the one involved in it. Do you understand now? Do you get it now? So I don't know, but at the end of the day, I think looking for this file is not going to make sense. All these presidential candidates should focus on how to campaign, how to bring more policies, how to convince Nigerians to reject Tinubu and the APC come 2027. But if they want to have a leverage by looking at those files or seeking the release of the file from the US, I think it's not going to happen. They did it in 2023, it didn't work out. Now, they are also doing it again in 2027, which is not going to work. Let us channel our energy somewhere else on how to remove Tinubu and the APC. That is all. This file is going to bring a distraction if the presidential candidates in this coming election doesn't want to step up to the game. That is the only thing that I will say. You get now. So this file is not going to, releasing this file is not going to happen. So let us stop being anticipated that one day they will release it. No. Prominent people in the United States of America and other world leaders might be indicted. The only person that would now champion the release of this file is Trump, if it comes to his desk. That is the only way.